Botlhale, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Lots of those that have gathered for this case expressing deep disappointment at the fact that it hasn't gone ahead. How are you as the foundation feeling?
Good evening, Kathy, and thank you for inviting us over. We equally express the same disappointment that everybody has been expressing, simply because we were hellbound on having this thing started, and we thought that with everything that would be happening, we would finally begin to get closure. So that is the most disappointing thing, that today we end up having to find ourselves with yet another postponement. And it seems like it's become the order of the day, where we have to get used to all these tactics from the defense side. And, so it honestly does not sit well with that and with us. And it just prolongs also us having to finally get closure and begin to, sorry about that. Finally getting closure and begin to mourn.
And of course, one can understand the frustration, but I suppose when we look at the entire case around the killing of Tshegofatso Pule, it has been somewhat extraordinary, at least when we look at the pace at which, we saw arrests being made, this case even being heard through the courts. When you reflect on, just the broader scope of gender-based violence in the country, do you sit back and think, yes, there have been these issues that frustrate the case, but certainly there's a lot more that has been done in the last 2 years in this case than perhaps many others?
Definitely. And for that, we have a lot to be grateful for, because, there's a whole lot of other cases that took place before Tshego's death. And we are now right at the end of this case, and those cases still have not been heard. And this is the very same fuel that fires us up in order for us to do the very same thing for other cases that we're busy handling, just because this has given us hope that at least, there is a huge difference with our case, with regards to how the justice system has been handling everything where other cases are concerned. So we are extremely fortunate from where we stand, and I don't know whether it was because this was right in the public eye, or whether it was just God's grace. But whatever it is, we have everything to be grateful for, because we feel that as much as it's been such a long time, or 2 years, but compared to all the other cases that have actually taken place, we've been by far the luckiest.
What has the work that you as a foundation, what have you been involved in since you began, convening under the foundation?
So basically, how the foundation started was because we saw that there was so much support system for us as family and friends, from be it community and the nation at large, and also internationally. And for that, we have so much to be grateful for. And because of that, we found ourselves having to, to sit down and say, what can we do in order for us to show gratitude? And we felt we don't want Tshegofatso to be remembered for how she was ousted, but rather let's just do something great in her name. And we decided that, we wanted to be a far different organization, in that we don't just want to raise awareness, but we also saw that there was a huge niche in how families suffer alone after the cameras have shut down, and after they've buried, they stay alone and nobody knows what happens with those cases. They go stone cold, So we felt that was something that was important for us to do. So what we do is that we make sure that if there's a victim, if they're struggling to open a case, we go ahead and we help them do that. If they are struggling to have their cases heard, we go ahead and we do that. As you know, that Dumisang Katake, who is uncle to Tshegofatso, is an attorney. His firm also offers pro bono work to the victims and the families who can't afford themselves legal advice, or if we feel that the legal advice that they're getting is rather shady, and he steps in with his law firm to say, you know what, this is my way of giving back. But basically, we serve as a pillar of strength to the families and make sure that the cases actually get the light of day in court, and make sure that we see the families throughout the whole process, making sure that they also get granted counseling where they have not. And so basically just making sure that we make this as comfortable as possible for them.
It's been interesting to also see just the issue of legal processes and how much support families need there, because there seems to be an issue around how processes of the courts are explained, especially to those who have matters that are being adjudicated on. And that seems to be a big issue, that often there will be decisions that are made in court, including something as, as basic as a postponement, but it's not explained clearly to families why this is happening, the impact of that on the case, and giving them a clear picture of what to expect going forward.
Definitely. So with us, I would say that we were fortunate enough, because even the personnel that was assigned to us from the Department of Community and Safety, they made sure that they took us through each and every single step, explaining to us each and every single process that was taking place. So even if we didn't have the likes of Dumisang with his legal expertise with us on our side, we had somebody that was very reliable, making sure that they explained each and every single thing to us, which was something else that we saw a lack of with all the other families that we're actually dealing with and we're assisting, because they go to court prematurely, and where they don't even need to, before trial starts, before they can even have a need to go to court. But you find these poor families going for multiple postponements where nobody understands exactly what it is that is happening. And they don't even understand that there needs to be communication between themselves and the investigating officer, who is supposed to actually be the one that actually lets them know what the court processes are and what's next. But we find these poor families going to court unnecessarily and having their pains being rubbed in their faces without them understanding anything that has to do with the process. So that is where we also step in. And we were fortunate enough that we had all these things explained to us, and we had all sorts of assistances in abundance. So we felt that, it is our duty to actually return that favor and make sure that all the other families don't go through what they've been going through.
Botlhale, rather, Modisane, let's leave it there for tonight. She is with the Tshegofatso Pule Foundation.